What's up, everyone? How you guys doing? And yes, our greatest fears are now realized. Dori, unfortunately, is being confirmed to be coming in 5.1 first half. We're talking more about the new banners. We're going to talk about the weapons as well because we have 3 new weapons coming in 5.1. And we're going to also, besides the 5-star weapon for Xilonen, and we also talk about the 5.2 drip marketing. So let's not waste any time. Let's get this video started. All right, so just to start things off, we officially have the drip marketing for Chasca. For those of you who have played the 5.0 story, she's featured quite prominently, especially in Act 2. I'm not going to spoil much for you guys who have not played it. But if you can see from the drip marketing, she is actually an emo. And if you have seen the Xilonen trailer, she does have a bow, so she's going to be an anemo bow character, similar to Faruzan and Venti. I doubt she's going to have the same utility, the same users. She might be a main DPS, right? An anemo bow main DPS character. We have to see. You can go and read her lore. You know, if you played the 5.0 story, you know this does make a little bit of sense because of whoopsie daisy. It made a little bit of sense because of what her sister mentioned. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to spoil much for players who have not played through. And the second drip marketed character we have is Ororon. Seen him with Capitano in the teaser trailer for Natlan. And also we've seen him appear in the 5.1 trailer. And so we're going to see him on a Wednesday when the patch drops. That being said, Electro, is he gonna be 4 or 5 stars? I think he's more likely to be a 4-star, to be honest. I think Chasca might be 5-star. I don't think he is as dripped to be for 4-star, in my opinion. I might be wrong. He might just be 4 or 5 stars for the fun of it. But you know what? There might be once we get more information about these two, I think obviously, as much as people don't want to say they'll pull for meta, if a character is strong, you know, it's going to increase the likelihood of someone pulling for them, right? So that's that. Let's talk about something more current, which is 5.1 coming up soon. And we had to talk about this. We talk about the banners for 5.1 first half, right? Xilonen and Chiori headlining it together with Collei, Candace, and Dori, which it's hilarious to me. In my last video, I predicted that Collei was going to be part of the 4 stars, sorry. So I got that right. I didn't really anticipate Candace because I thought that even though Candace, 13 banners, because she's going to be given up for free, I didn't really, sorry, was I blocking? Yeah, I was blocking, my bad. Yeah, so Candace, 13, even though she was 13 banners the last rerun, which is pretty high, I still thought that Candace was going to skip like a patch because Candace is free from the Nahida event. Dori, I'm actually quite surprised because Dori has been 9 banners, which is quite low. Like considering that there are characters that have twice or even more than twice of time since the last rerun. I think they had, I think Hoyoverse just hates Hazel, just hates Sayu, RIP Lily Pichu. Maybe they just hate Fisher as well, right? But I do have hope that Fisher's gonna come back, but that's for another story. So let me just move my camera back. All right, so these 3 characters, in my opinion, they are pretty mid. The only one I could probably justify that is being like usable is probably Collei. Collei does have decent dendro application, although I think the ICD is a little bit off. I don't use it that much, but from what I've heard, she does have ICD issues with, I think, the ultimate. Candace does have Hydro Infusion, which is the only character, but she's more like Chongyun instead of Bennett, right? Where, it doesn't really do much for the team. She does have pretty decent like damage if you have her at C6, but that's about it. Dori, for all the memes and all the jokes, she does become a better healer when she's at C4. So maybe if I just show the constellations, Yeah, Dori becomes a little bit of a better healer at C4. Oh my god, I'm still blocking. Right, at C4, she heals a lot better and stuff like that. She's got better support. This one gives her a little bit more damage. That's about it. I think her C6 is kind of yeah, for a 4-star. And then I say the selling point of Candace is the Hydro Infusion. But I think she does get pretty decent damage increase from her C6. C2 is also pretty okay. Yeah, everything else is like pretty alright. And then lastly, as I mentioned, collei. Collei, you do get a copy for free. So getting her to C2 for the 40% increase is quite feasible. C4 does give her EM. Does give the team EM, I bet. And C6 does give her a lot more damage, but I don't think it's enough to put her above like a C or B. So that is that for the 4 stars. Unfortunately, not really the most exciting. Like I said, I would prefer like a Charlotte. I'll prefer like Charlotte comeback. I'll prefer okay, we just had Chevrus. I'll prefer oh shit, I don't even have Kave. Damn. I'll prefer like Hazel, at least Hazel's unique. Cookie Shinobu, even Xingqiu, for example. I think Xingqiu is quite recent. So like these characters, I'd rather have them come back than those 3. Definitely not Dori and Candace, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Yeah, so those are the banners coming. I think most people are just gonna be hyped for the 5 stars rather than the 4 stars. But I think the next one we'll look at is the weapon banner, which I think is gonna be a little bit more interesting. We have the Peak Patrol Song, which is going to be Xilonen's standard signature weapon, and also the Uraku Misugiri, which is actually a very, very good weapon for a lot of characters, especially in Geo with teams with Geo, right? So not only for Chiori, but it's very good for other characters. The only wasted is that there's a defense stat in the passive for characters that don't scale on Geo. For example, like I'll hate them if you ever run, like maybe not I'll hate them, but like Keqing, for example, you play Keqing with like Dendro, like with like Geo, or like Cloren with Geo. So the defense subset is a little bit wasted, but other than that, I think it's a pretty good weapon nonetheless. It's actually like, in a lot of cases, most characters second or third best in slots. The Rust, in my opinion, Rust has gone down in value a lot, unless you're playing your Emiya or Child, which is quite unfortunate. Maybe with Chasca coming out, the Rust might see more use. We have the 2 new weapons, which is the sword and the spear, right? There's also a claymore, which I would assume is going to come out in the second half. Forward's Codex is always good because it's Favonius. Sacrificial Greatsword is decent, but unfortunately, I think for like the Greatsword category, there aren't characters that's a lot of characters that use the weapon, which is a little bit unfortunate. Funny enough, I think the weapon banner is a lot more enticing than the character banner. Of course, pull the weapon banner at your own risk. Although it's a lot better nowadays. All right, let's talk about the weapons first. All right, let's talk about the 4 new weapons, starting with the signature weapon for Xilonen, the Peak Patrol Song, which I think is going to be very, very nice. It's definitely the best in slot, especially on a support build. And if you can notice, right, nowadays they add this party-wide all element, like this tag, you can see like, oopsie daisy, you can see that in all the weapons. I don't know whether it's a recent thing, or maybe I just have been blind and not noticed it. But anyways, Xilonen 82.7% defense. I think it's the highest defense scale for a subset. And then so basically, when you do a normal plunging attack, you get an increase in defense and all elemental damage bonus, which is actually very, very nice. And you can there are 2 stacks, so 16% and 20%. So 16 defense, 20% of this, which adds up quite a lot. And the reason why you must take note of that is because of the second part, where if you hit your second stack, right? When you hit your second stack, and when the second stack duration is refreshed, right? You increase your your party members or elemental damage bonus by 8% for every 1000 defense, up to a maximum of 25.6. So what this basically means is that in order for you to hit this, you need about 3000 because of this stack as well. So you need about 3000 to hit the 3000 defense to hit the maximum 25.6, because you get 1.6 from you get 16%, sorry. We get 1.6 from here. Right, you get 1.6 from here. So you need 24%, which is 30,000. So 3,000. All right. So make sure that you have 3,000 out of 3,000 defense out of battle. All right. So that's basically it in order for you to hit the max stack. So like I said, it's pretty good, especially for support based Xilonen. I think for DPS Xilonen, main DPS, I think that Uraku is a lot better, but a little bit better. But this is still a pretty decent stat stack, as well as pretty decent, nice like DJ effect. Then let's look at the 4-star weapons. The first one, we have the Molten Bracing Bolt, which is, if you played the 5.0 story, you have seen this weapon being used. Basically, this weapon plus the next one, you decrease your climbing stamina consumption by 15%, which is also here. All right, this is sprint. So this is climbing, this is sprint. But for the sphere, you increase your elemental skill damage by 12%. I don't know any characters that will actually make use of this weapon as of now. But yeah, you can increase it by a further 12% when other party members use their elemental skill as well. Currently, I don't know. Maybe I just can't think of my head right now. But I don't think there's any character that any polearm character that rely on that skill. Like if this was a sword, right? I think maybe like Xingqiu will be pretty happy with this, for example. But you know, but I think it's still a pretty good weapon. It's just that maybe the characters that benefit from it are not out yet. So that's what it is. Or maybe I just can't think of them right now. The second one, which is the Sturdy Bone, which is the other weapon coming out in the first half. By the way, this is 30.6 energy recharge, which I think is the same as Favonia's lance. So it's pretty nice. So second one is Sturdy Bone, which is a sword. 27.6, 565 base attack. So as I mentioned, the sprint version, and then your normal attack damage increased by 16%. Which characters will use this? I mean, there are a few. I don't know why I first came out to Alhaitham. When I thought alternate sprint, I thought of Ayaka. I would be surprised if Ayaka can use this. Whether this is an upgrade over the Amenoma remains to be seen. I don't think so. But you know what? I think people will probably use this because this can trigger 18 times, right? So yeah, definitely it's gonna be pretty nice, especially at higher refinements. And lastly, which is this, I guess this is on the second half, the Fruitful Hope, which is a claymore. This is for plunging characters. So your Garming, your Diluc, Navia, Xinyan, apparently, right? I think it's actually pretty decent. Gives you additional crit rate for plunging in particular. And also after your plunging attacks, you get a boost in damage for normal, charge, and plunging. So there are definitely some characters that will make decent use of this. I say Garming can be pretty good, although I say that if you use Garming on Marashuse, you know, you have the chance to overcrit. So just be careful. That being said, I think that this is still pretty nice. And I think that at higher refinements, right, you get higher crit rate. I guess this is at 24. It's going to be a lot better. So I think that this is one of those weapons that can get better at higher refinements. That being said, if you have like battle pass weapons or any like 5-star alternatives, even the standards, they will mostly be better, right? They'll mostly be better. Or even like the craftable. I think like the Inazuma craftable sword should be better than the Sturdy Bone for most characters. But that's about it. I don't really want to talk about it too much. How do you guys feel about the banner? And from a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the 4-star lineup? I mean, okay, to be fair, I think most people will still pull on Xilonen, but I think it's just a little bit like you could have gotten like Goro, right? Like I was certain that Goro's gonna be here, but he wasn't. But that's what it is. But you know what? That's the fate of us Genshin Impact players. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know if you're pulling for Xilonen or even like Chiori, and hopefully you win your 50-50s. All the best for your gacha pulls. Until next time, before that, do know that I stream live on Twitch, link is down the description below. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, because there's other people around you. See you guys next time. Bye bye.